Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Perfectly Twisted.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Everybody, while you're right here, if you could hit that like button, we would really, really appreciate it. It does us so much good. And you're here, so why not?
Why not? You got nothing else to do. You're looking at it right now, so just push it.
Yeah, just push it. Just hit it.
So, all right, we're very curious to know, and I'm saying we, like I'm speaking for the audience, but I know the audience is with me. Very curious to know an update on how you're doing. I mean, your energy level seems fantastic.
Well, I'm good. It's the week before I go back for treatment. So it's only the week. So far, it's only been the week of treatment that's hard. I hope it continues that way, but it's a day-by-day process. But my hair started falling out yesterday.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and it's like, anybody that's ever had their bangs cut, that feeling of, like, fine hairs just falling in your eyes and falling in your face, it was, like, sticking in my lip gloss. I was doing a
Oh,
TMZ
no.
interview. I was doing, like, a Zoom interview with TMZ, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is my lip gloss?" And all my hair was just, like, trickling out. So that's kind of weird, but
Yeah, right in front of them. Wow.
well, it's just happening and they're just like loose hairs. So I'm trying not to touch it too much. But at least it's not like huge clumps coming out. I didn't know how this was going to go. And I don't know if it will progress to like clumps coming out or not. At that point I will shave it. But right now it's just these really annoying, like fine hairs falling out. And it's just all it can remind me of was when I was a kid and you would get your bangs trimmed when they were dry. And that feeling of like, just all that fine hair all over your face and it's like itchy. That's what I'm feeling like all day long. So, it's weird. It's weird, but it's
You,
part of the process.
you know what? I was thinking about it as you're describing. A couple of weeks ago, you cut your hair short.
Yeah.
And as you said, look, if it's going to fall out, at least it's kind of gradual. It seemed to make sense. And now it even makes more sense. I'm looking,
Yeah.
at your hair and you're going, it's, like you said, it's the feeling of getting your bangs cut. But I mean, if your hair was long, I mean,
That would be weird.
that'd be weird, right? I mean,
Yeah.
long hairs just falling in your face or on your clothes. And yeah,
I
I think
feel like
you made a really smart move.
I feel like that would be like traumatic and kind of gross. Like, you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
long hairs everywhere. Like, oh my gosh. Um, so yeah, I feel like I did the right thing too. It's just much easier, so much
Yeah.
easier to deal with if it's falling out. Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, why did you cut your hair? And I was like, really?
Really?
Really? Is that a question?
Was it
It's
somebody
like,
you knew, or is it
yeah,
just some random person? Oh, wow.
no, it's somebody I know. But it's sort of like, if I was like tattooing my face right now, I don't think you should question it.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I
Good
mean?
good
Like whatever
yeah.
I'm doing right now, please don't question it. Just go with it. But and then he said, "Why did you make it brown?" Okay, this is a it's like that's my real color. This is what happens when you cut all your highlights off.
That
So
is
it's
that is interesting. The person that asked the question, not to call, anybody out, but how long have you known this person?
quite a while.
Do you ever just go, "Can't you read the room?" Like, I have people that I'm related to and very close to that seem like they can never read the room. Like, how about don't
No,
ask any questions?
yeah, I can't read the room. Made a few
Yeah.
comments that were like, I was, oh, really kind of took me aback. But listen, people are awkward, and part of my journey is to navigate these awkward things because people don't realize they can say one thing and it can put you into a spin,
Yeah.
and it just you can hold on to it. You know how you hold on to negative things more than you hold on to positive things. So it's like people don't realize their words, and even like comments on social media. Some woman, and I know she really meant well, but she was saying, "Oh yeah, in the beginning chemo's fine, but it's this gradual thing, and by the fourth treatment you're going to be so sick." And I was like, "Oh my god." So I immediately text my friend Kristen who has gone through it and she's done it. And I was like, "Were you like way worse?" Because I cling to her because she's
Yeah.
never got sick. I mean, yes, she went through it and it felt bad, but she didn't get the nausea and she didn't throw up. And I'm hanging on to her experience. And I said, "Did it get worse?" And she was like, "No." She said, "Don't forget, like, everybody's experience is so different, and people shouldn't be saying that because, you know, just because they experience that doesn't mean you're gonna experience that." So, thank God I have her because I hold on. She worked out through it. She just, she's a warrior woman. So I'm just holding on to, if she could have that experience, then I could too.
I think I'll speak for myself. I told you I have two other friends outside of you that are going through this treatment, and you all started basically in the same week, and everybody is reacting a little bit different. As far as how they feel and the good days, bad days, the situation with the hair. I'm so afraid to ask questions. Like I'm always afraid to say the wrong thing. So with the other two people, there's a go between where I can say how are they doing. Whereas with you, I'll just contact you directly, and even then, I don't, try and bother you a lot. I don't know when you're sleeping. I don't know what you're feeling, so I'll literally just send you a text here and there. How we doing? Kind of a deal. But Alyssa Milano reached out to me, and how's our girl doing? Which is funny because I've never had a relationship with Alyssa until she was on the show as a guest. And I don't want to say relationship, but even known her. But it was even she kind of used me as the go between to you to make sure you're doing okay.
I think it was the day I didn't respond to her. There was one day that I forget what it was. I don't know if I didn't have my phone, but there was one day where everybody was like, "WTF, where are you? What's going on?" And I was kind of just having a day, enjoying the day, and I wasn't looking at my phone. And I think that must
Yeah,
have been it, because her and I are texting, we just text yesterday. So,
awesome.
she has no fear of contacting me directly, but I think there was a day I kind of went MIA, which people really panic, but, I don't like people to panic about me either, and I don't like to be around people who worry about me because, um, it projects something that's not there. Like, when people worry about their teenagers and stuff like that, they have all these, like, terrible ideas of what could be happening. I'm of a belief system that you manifest that, you create that. Instead of, like, you should visualize, like, they're made at home safe, they're gonna be okay. You should have those thoughts. You have to turn your worry into, like, positive thoughts and forward thinking. So, some days I've had it with I've just had it with the phone, and I just don't wanna answer, and, that's just, I don't wanna be on technology. I just don't want to. I just kind of like to escape. But, no, she's been really great and super positive. Most people are. There's just a couple people here and there, that say things and you're like, "Wow, wait, that could happen. Oh my god," and
Yeah.
it's not fun. It's not fun to hold on to. So, it's
When for me, this has never happened to me before. I'm sure for you, it happens all the time just because the industry you're in. But literally, I was watching a Grey's Anatomy episode, and Alyssa Milano was on the TV at the time. It was like she was in the hospital. Her sister was sick, and I'm watching this show, and all of a sudden my phone, beeps, and I look at my phone, and it's her, and I'm doing one of these, looking at the TV and looking at my phone. I'm like, holy fuck, like it was a really cool moment for me, but it was one of those that has never happened. I mean, there are a ton of people that are athletes that I know, and of course they aren't contacting me while they're playing for the Lakers, but at the same time, to look at somebody that have them write me at the same time, that was the first time that ever happened to me, Nicole, and it was funny. I was mind blown by it. I was like,
Dave's a little
this
starstruck.
I was a little starstruck, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" So that was really cool. But anyway, it's
I'm
just one
I'm
of those
glad I'm
things
glad I
that
could ma I'm glad I could make your life by introducing
you
you to
did.
myself.
You have for years, so I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So I got to ask you. I know you're trying to get something down because you're coughing, but what is
Yeah,
the green drink you're
I have
drinking?
cayenne pepper in my green juice, and it,
Okay,
like,
that's
got caught in my throat, so excuse me. I'm not
no
choking,
problem.
I'm not dying over here. I just have some cayenne stuck in my
No,
throat.
no problem. So what's in the green drink? What do you have in there?
This green drink is, a lemon, half an apple, celery, kale, um, ginger, turmeric, the roots, and a little bit of ice, water. Oh, and, spironella. And then I put it on, I put it in the Ninja 2 rounds so it becomes almost juice, and then I sprinkle, paprika, not paprika, red pepper on top of it. So it gets you going.
It gets you going. It sounds like
Gets you
it. Make your
going.
nose run a little bit.
Well, or make you choke.
Yeah, make you choke. How
Yeah,
often do you drink that
every day.
every day?
Yeah, I
And you
start
go
my day
you
off with that.
okay.
Because if I
It
have
was
2 what?
this before your diagnosis or it's something that was always part of your life?
It was always part of my life, but, to now it's every day. Now
Mm,
I make it at home. It used to be like I would get it at Whole Foods, and I was doing that and I was like, "Man, this is expensive.
yeah.
This is kinda pricey." And I just like to get my day started with it because I know that I've gotten, a lot of my nutrients by the one drink, so it really helps out. And I think that it really helped with my nausea a lot because I do a big hunk of ginger root.
Yeah.
So, it really helps keep your stomach settled and everything. So, I owe a lot to that. I find it amazing. Okay, last week I was talking about Wes Anderson. I did have it right as my favorite director. I'm a huge fan of his and everything he touches, and I just had to clear that up because I had chemo brain and I couldn't, figure out what was going on, but it is Wes Anderson. So back to that question, yes, that is my favorite director
Oh, there you
and
go. See?
filmmaker. Yes, Wes Anderson. Oh my gosh. Love everything.
So you did fine. You did fine right there.
I
Yeah.
did.
You
I
knew
did.
it.
I
You knew it all
second guessed
along.
myself, but you came back at me with this blank stare, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. I definitely got this wrong."
No,
But
just wasn't sure which direction. And then at the same time, I'm like, well, she always knows more than me, so I'm not gonna say anything, especially when it comes to the industry you're in. So I was like, maybe that's it. You know, the thing is, one thing about you that I think people have realized, you're definitely a broad stroke person, meaning that your music's all over the place, right? Your movies are all over the place, your friendships all over the place, your politics are all over the place. You aren't just like this is the line. You know, it's not just basically centralized. So you are a broad stroke person, which I think makes you very interesting.
I
But
am.
so when
Yeah,
you
I don't fit in
said
any
Wes Anderson,
box.
I'm like, that she had to know what she's talking about. You
Yeah,
know, she
yeah,
seems very confident in what she says when she answers. So that's
yeah. Wes
that's kind of the
Anderson.
way it goes.
Yeah, it's hard. I was so foggy that week following chemo. You're just pumped up with so much Benadryl and steroids, and you're taking all these anti-nauseas, which have their own side effects, and you're just like, whoa, your body's like, what have you done to me? So I'm a little foggy. So forgive me. But now I'm much more clear. The weeks following, I'm much better. But yeah. But I have a product alert.
Okay.
So I one thing I don't really skimp on is and ladies will understand is my face care routine, my skincare routine. So with my especially with like my serums and my moisturizers, I'm going for the good stuff. But and I also like really clean products. And I just went and bought a brand I won't mention and I spent so much at Sephora and it's okay. It's fine. It's anti-aging, but it's clean. And with the chemo, I didn't know how my skin was going to react. So I went into Lush, which Lush is one of my favorite places. Um, and everything is handmade and there's no preservatives. So like it expires in a couple months. Like you have to use it. But I went in there and I was talking to the guy in there. He was super sweet and super helpful. And he turned me on to this. It's Celestial, and it's vanilla water, almond milk, and cocoa butter, and it's a face moisturizer. It was $33, which is middle of the road. That's not cheap, that's not expensive. It's the best shit I've ever used.
Really?
I don't know if I will ever go back to anything else. And I mean, it's heaven. It's heaven, it's heaven. I'm super picky about moisturizers. Um, this is gold. This is gold in a little package, and I'm just loving it because my skin really it gets dry, but it also gets really shiny, so it has a really weird texture to it. And this just, I don't know. I wake up and I still feel moisturized. I got so many compliments. It was just weird. It was like everybody's like, "Oh my god, your skin, it's glowing. Your skin is glowing." It's
That's
this
it.
stuff. It's this stuff. Probably in conjunction with all of this stuff. But I am telling you, people have never commented on my skin so much, and I've never been so happy with my skin. So, Celestial, $33,
Hold
Lush.
it up to the camera one more time if you can, just so people see it. There you go. Okay.
Celestial.
There you go. All right,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I'm always, I'm always
Fantastic.
interested in it. But as far as the skincare stuff, because when I was a kid and I used to watch soap operas with my grandmother, and you'd see these commercials come on, and like everything's a scam. Is what in my head. It's a scam. And then women putting stuff on their faces and everything else. Whatever they make now, and like this product here, and whatever they're making now seems to be working better than ever. Because when I look back at old TV stars, I don't know about other people that do this. I think I might have said this to you on the show, where I'm always the guy that clicks info and then goes down cast and see when people were born, and I try and figure out their ages, whether the movie was made in 2011 or whatever. But I'm amazed how much younger people look now than they did, let's say, even in the 70s or 80s. Like when you and I have spoken about Mary Tyler Moore, like Lou Grant was like 42 in that
Yeah.
show. And you're like, holy cow, Lou Grant looks like he's 68, And but people did
Yeah.
look much older. People are looking younger and younger every day. And I'm assuming it's the products are better than ever.
I think it's a combination of our lifespans are longer. Nutrition is we're so much more educated on nutrition. The products, yeah, the science is in the skincare products. People are working on their mental health, and their spirituality, which maybe wasn't so common. I think there's so many things that contribute to it, but you're absolutely right. I know I saw something, it was like the bunkers, Archie Bunker and something. They were like 45 or
Yeah.
something,
So what the
right?
hell?
Yeah.
Like we all thought, for me, I would have said they're all in their 60s. But no, you're right. They're in their 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, and
It's
we do live longer and we are, educating ourselves on how to take care of ourselves. So, all of that stuff.
All right, so I have a question for you about
Yeah.
lighting, because basically the way Nicole and I are doing the show, we're just doing the show from our own houses, and we just have a basic light up. There's no professional lighting going on. That's not what this show's about. It's no one's looking to be in a magazine off of this show. But I have a question for you about lighting, about when you're doing TV or movies, and how important is the lighting? Have you ever done a TV show or movie and say something's wrong with the lighting on me, or had a complaint, or do they always seem to get it right with you? And the reason I ask that is I this sounds basic as can be, but do you ever go into a bathroom, let's say at a hotel or a business office, and they have, like, I always call it the light of death. Like, I don't know what light bulbs are above you, but like you never look worse in the mirror than whatever lights they're using in that bathroom. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, if this is what I look like all the time, I'd never leave the house. But
Yeah.
professionally, have you ever had an issue with lighting, or saying the lighting was outstanding? Like, you remember where you were because they did such a good job.
Um, I mean, I think the bad shots outweigh the good ones. For the most part, they as long as you're not playing like a character that's supposed to look harsh and mean or old, that lighting can really do all of those things. Just like when you watch the reality shows, and with everything being so high def now, you can see the difference of when they're shooting these women and they're like outside at like a lunch compared to when they're doing their interviews, talking to the camera when they're doing their like diary interviews.
Yeah.
Lighting is everything. Lighting is your best friend. So and not until you get older do you start to really care as a female. You don't like it didn't matter when I was young. You could shoot from any angle and it looked great. But yes, as you get older and the cameras are so high definition. And so like when the makeup, you wear thick makeup because the cameras are so high def, but then the makeup creases and the lighting hits it wrong and you can look aged by many years. So lighting's very important.
I'm
Lighting's
glad you
best
said
friend.
that. I agree. I agree.
You know what else
It,
always drives me crazy? And I think women can really attest to this. Maybe some guys, but I'm not sure if it affects guys the way it does girls. Um, lighting in the dressing rooms. Lighting in dressing rooms. You go to the store and God forbid you're trying on bikinis or bathing suits. Like I never could understand why they didn't put super flattering light in all the dressing rooms. It
good point.
just it baffles me. You can never look worse than you do in the dressing room. And if you look good and you're happy there, you're going to look fantastic in life, because there is nothing worse than dressing room lighting for whatever reason.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. Think how much more they would sell if they put good lighting in there.
I mean, yes. I've learned to not even go in the dressing rooms anymore. I take it all home and then return what I don't like.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson. You know how many times as like a young girl with like this perfect little body, I was like, "Ah, what is all that cellulite?" And put everything back and walked out of there hating myself. All because of the bad lighting in a dressing room. So,
Uh, there you go. No, you're absolutely right. It seems like it doesn't make any sense. The whole idea is for them to sell it. Why would you,
yeah.
basically make the customer look that way? Yeah, I was curious about the lighting because just on a personal note, I do a TV hit locally on every Friday. And for some reason, I never feel like I look worse than when I do that one TV hit there. Like there's no other place where I even care. But then I'll go home and I'll see, hey, I had it look on TV. I can't wait to delete it. Like I'm like, what the hell? Who is that guy?
It's
It looks
it's
like he was in a bar for 3 days in a row. I look awful every single time. And it's
it's in
going
studio,
and
obviously.
yeah, it's in a TV studio. And then but I've never been in a TV studio where I felt that way. And yeah, it sounds ridiculous,
So it's
but no,
bad
it does
lighting.
bothers
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad
Yeah,
lighting.
every time I'm like, God dang, it looks like literally I drank for 3 straight days and didn't sleep. Every single time, no matter what I do. And I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. So you made me feel a little bit better that lighting is important because otherwise in my mind, I'm like, maybe my mirrors are a joke and everyone does see me that way. So I was all insecure,
Well,
what the hell's
yeah,
going on?
that's true too. You're like, which is it? So yesterday I did a Zoom with TMZ, a Zoom interview, and my computer, this setup was lagging. So I had
Oh,
to use my phone. And I was like, oh my God, my phone with the highest definition camera on the market. Um, so I was pretty miserable and I was so upset. I was like, oh God, here we go. But I did it. And so that leads me to the big story that's in the news right now is Fox picked up Baywatch for the reboot. And I just wonder, everybody keeps asking me what I think about it. And it's like, it doesn't really matter, I guess, what I think about it. Cause I'm a partial to the show.
yeah.
So of course I would love to see, I would love to see a reboot. And I loved The Rock and the Zac Efron movie. I thought it was fun. And, critics bashed it, but it was like, what did they really expect? It's Baywatch, you know? Um, I thought it was great. And, I know what it took for them to do that and get their bodies like that and, their passion for it. I appreciate that. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do
Yeah.
with this new show. They have they could really do it right and have another hit on their hands, or they could, try to recreate what was magic back then and, blow it, but we'll see. I just
Do you
wondered what
know
everybody else thought.
do you know when it will start and possible any cast members?
No, I don't. I mean, I knew it was in the works because we're doing the documentary and all the behind the scenes negotiations with all the studios and everything. So I knew it was in the works, and then they did the press release this week. So, no, it's greenlit. It's gonna go. So they don't. I don't know if they have. I'm sure they have people in mind, but they have not released any of that yet.
Did the TMZ interview you did it air already or is it
That was
airing?
yesterday.
Damn it. All right, I'll find it. I'll find it.
It was it was the weirdest thing because I sounded like I had a lisp. I think I was watching it and I was like, "Am I lisping?" My fucking phone must have been lagging too. I was like, and it kind of drives me crazy because it's like Wikipedia or no IMDb. That stupid IMDb. It says traits or characteristics of Nicole Eggert, and it always says lisp, and I'm like, I don't have
It
a lisp.
does? I've never
Yeah,
heard a lisp.
I
I
don't have a
listen to that
lisp.
shit all the time. You don't.
I don't have a lisp. But yesterday on TMZ, I did.
That is funny.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh my
huh, I don't know
gosh.
what that's all about, but whatever.
That's fun. That's one of those things, by the way, when I was younger and you heard because a bunch of kids obviously had speech problems, in school, and then they fix it. That was one of those that would drive me a little nuts if someone had a lisp. And then now as I get older, if I hear someone with one, I can't talk to them enough. It's like I just got to hear more of it. I don't know why I find that humorous, but I do. I enjoy it. When and then of course I'd sit there and try and do it myself the rest of the day. And then people, look, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
You're gonna
I
get
don't think
stuck
that
that
that's
way.
okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get stuck that way. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's that's the way it goes. Oh my gosh. All right,
Yeah.
I gotta ask you about a couple shows. All right.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I'm going to ask you about Vanderpump. I'm going to ask you about Real Housewives. So, which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Real Housewives.
Okay. Where are you at on a couple things? Dorit and Kyle, both of them to go with.
Well, honestly, I feel like Kyle is, if she's not, if she is being her authentic self and isn't hiding anything, I think she's in a kind of a confused place finding herself, and she should be allowed to do that. So I feel like she's a little bit like living in some gray area and figuring some things out, and they should give her that grace. Dorit, I mean, she needs some awareness. Talk about not being like up to date or being aware or reading a room. That woman is just missing. She's missing some beans up there. With the problems she's having with Garcelle, it's like it's just simple things. And then it's not taking accountability. Instead of saying like, okay, she innocently didn't know, you don't call a woman of color, you don't say you attacked me when there was no attack. You just, there's certain things that you're trying to steer away from, stereotypes that are just old and don't serve us anymore. You don't say things like that. And she just doesn't she doesn't get it, and then doesn't accept it. Doesn't say like, okay, all right. She doesn't do the listening part and the
Yes.
learning part. And so to me, those two together are just like they're just going against each other. They're forces that they're not going to understand each other, because Dorit doesn't understand anything except Dorit, it feels like. And Kyle doesn't really know who Kyle is right now. That's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know. What about you?
I don't disagree with what you said. If I was Dorit, I mean, there's certain people you're going to realize we are never going to get along. And this person's always going to have a chip on their shoulder because she made it clear. She said, 3 years ago, you pissed me off. I haven't forgiven you. That's one thing about the show that bothers me is they'll do these lunches, just the two people, and hey, are we good? We're good. And then they aren't good. Then they rat fuck each other as soon as they separate. And Garcelle basically pulled that move with her. She just came out in the reunion. 3 years ago, you upset me. I didn't forgive you. But on the show, you did say you forgave her. So in Dorit's defense on that one, like, wait a second, I watched the same episode that you were in where you said we're good now, but we were never good. And for me, if I was Dorit, I would say, all right, you know what? Life is short. There are a bunch of other girls on this show. I'm not going to film with her ever again. If we're in a group at the same time, I'm not going to address her. I'm just going to move on to have a relationship with other people because she is never going to win her over. She does hate her guts. Garcelle hates Dorit. It is never, ever going to be okay. And we all know Dorit doesn't know how to talk to her anyway. So you might as well just say, I got to come off in a better form than I am already. Right now, people are looking at me as a racist and insecure person. I gotta move on. I'm never going to be good when I'm in the room with this girl ever. That's
Well,
how I'm at.
I mean, I feel like she should take accountability and say to Garcelle, okay, you know, yes, I need some educating. I need, this or that, or I apologize. And if it's still not good, yeah, then you can like tiptoe around her. But you also can't. Maybe Garcelle tried to forgive her and just couldn't get past it,
Couldn't
because
get past, which is fine. I do that with people all the time.
sometimes when you forgive somebody and then they continue the
Yeah,
behavior, it's this is a dead end. And I'm pretty positive that's what happened. So in Garcelle's defense, Dorit apologized. They said they would move forward, but Dorit just keeps up the same behavior and
yeah.
doesn't she's not self-aware. Let's just be honest.
No, she's
So
not.
I feel like until she wants to come to terms with that, and I don't think people are looking at her as a racist, but I do think that they are looking at her as a little tone deaf. So, you have to be in touch. You just
You,
have to.
all right, so I'm gonna probably ask an unfair question. Do you think Garcelle looks at her as a racist?
I think Garcelle looks at her as somebody who's not willing to learn and is not listening and is not um picking up on the cues that are being laid down. And that is frustrating in 2024. Just talk less than Dorit. She talks nonstop. Maybe the diary of the mouth, you need to rein it in a little bit here, because she keeps digging a deeper hole. And if you don't want to understand why you upset someone, then I have to question your intention.
All right, so here you go. Speaking of Dorit, 2 years or less, is Dorit still married?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what goes on. I feel like Yes, I feel like they'd stay married. I feel like, it's a little bit more of a business. There's also not only just a marriage there, there's a business, and money's tied up, and so sometimes people have more reason to stay married than just for the marriage.
Yeah,
But listen, I hate to predict anything like that because it's just not. I'm not in bed with them. I don't know what's going on and what they're feeling and what's real and what's not. And I hope they work it out. I really do. They have little kids. They seem to get along great otherwise. So
I
you
say,
know,
you disappear for 6 weeks is a long time to go
when
out of
he
the
took off
country.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean that's a long
yeah.
time.
And it seems to be that, he's losing his patience with her and her still dwelling in the trauma of, the robbery, and that's a tough one too. There's
Yeah,
people who can't get past things. Dorit is one of those people. It's like that Lisa on Miami Housewives. Like, oh my goodness, that woman should just be in a room with herself in a mirror, like, and just go at it. She doesn't care about anything else. So, there's people like that, and you can only take so much of that.
exactly. Exactly. All right. So Kyle, to me is the most interesting one. I felt like the season was cut short. Wait a second. There should be 5 more episodes in this season. But with Kyle, I don't understand her separation yet. I mean, they're in the same house. Like, what kind of separation is this? Was that? Do you date and go on dates and you come back and still live in the same house with the person that you aren't with? It's obvious that this relationship is over in Kyle's mind. It sounds like there was cheating that was involved, and there's obviously trust issues. Why not? Again, I've never been divorced, but why not just cut the cord and go, hey, we're going to find our own separate places to live? You've already told the kids that you aren't together.
They live in separate bedrooms. Also, we can't forget that these people don't spend a whole lot of time at home. So,
Yeah,
you're kind of comparing it to um other people who go home every day or spend time at home every day. These people are not at home. So it's more of a convenience, I would imagine, that, they share the home until the till that youngest one is out. And she's just they've got like 2 more years or something with the young one, Portia, until she's 18, and then they'll probably. I mean, I don't know. But to me, it makes sense. To me, it's not so weird that they would just stay together, keep everything together, and then when the youngest moves out and is gone, then they split it all up. Why not just what's another 2 years when you hardly see each other anyway?
it's a good point. They hardly ever see each other. It would be. You're right. I'm thinking of people that work basically 9 to 5 jobs that
Yeah,
are
this
home,
is not
at the
their
same
life.
time. But it would be weird to me in that situation of the person you were married to basically coming home late at night. Obviously, they were on a date. You know what I mean? That would be that'd be a little crazy. And it seemed
Well,
like her
again,
husband was completely
I don't
caught
think
off
their
guard.
schedules I don't think their schedules are like that, Dave. There's not like they wouldn't be sus about them coming home late because they might be working on something really late. Like, again, you have to understand these people's schedule. They, like, if you're working on Dancing with the Stars, you're working till all nights of the hour, like, you are out. So, it's not. And then maybe you go with, people you're working with to go grab food afterwards or whatever. This is not people living your normal 9 to 5, and you're like, "Oh, they're home at 2." That's strange. No, coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning is pretty normal in this industry. That's not wild. So, again, I don't think that it feels like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. It seemed like Mauricio was kind of surprised by everything that happened this year. And I don't know what the truth is in this whole story, but it seemed like he was surprised she was melting down right in front of him. I mean, she's getting tattoos and she wasn't the same person that she had been in years past and trying to find balance somewhere. It was an interesting season. I just wish it went 5 more episodes.
I know. I
It
know.
felt like it was short. I think it was only 17, but it felt short when they said coming up the season finale next week. And I'm like, what do you mean already?
I
It
think
was
it
kind of
felt short
surprising.
because we didn't get anywhere,
We didn't get
right?
any
We
answers. Yeah.
didn't get anywhere. This is just a hamster wheel. So maybe let's hope that time off, people evolve, people figure some things out, and they're in a different place. They land differently, and we can pick up and get some answers or get some clarity. Because yeah, right now it's a hamster wheel of just nonsense.
All right.
But I'm
So
excited for
Vanderpump.
that new Erica Jane. Did you see the new Erica Jane show that's
No,
coming
tell me.
out? Bet
Tell
on
me.
Bet on Blonde. It's of her
No.
doing it's following her through her residency at Vegas. So that'll be really I'm excited for that. I'm happy for her.
Is that on Bravo? Is that
Yeah.
gonna be on Bravo too? Oh, cool. Good for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Vanderpump? Where you at on this?
Oh my god, this last episode just made me angry. It made me angry in so many ways. Um, first of all, can we start with that terrible quote, in parentheses, yoga session that they all had? Like, talk about making like the spiritual and the yoga world look weird and lame. I don't know what that was. Now turn around and look at each other as if this is the last time you're ever going to see each other. What in the drama? And then they all pause while Miss Sheena Shea goes and has a meltdown. What yoga class stops? Like, you don't
Yeah.
stop and break. And why Sheena just she needs some therapy. She needs some therapy because it is all about her. She's another one. All about
Yep.
her. Why is she crying through the entire episode? I get it that you feel like you lost a good friend. I get it that it's tough. I get it that it stinks, but is it that bad? Like, is it really that bad? Do you? I, I would hate to see what happened to her if something like really serious in life happened. Like, if there was a tragedy, she would not. She
Yeah.
would crumble.
Oh, she would. But
No,
that's
she's
yeah.
not.
You see people like that all the time, right? Where they try and make a big deal out of something that we all look at and go, "That's things are worse." I mean, firsthand, things get worse.
Yeah,
And if something major happened, yeah, she's not prepared
she
that to
would
handle
not
anything.
hold up. She would
No, not
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 hold
at all.
up. I mean, just making it all about her, which was so wild, and then talking to Ariana about it, and then being frustrated that Ariana is not, having her back, in her words. I mean, you're talking to the wrong audience. Like, you don't call Ariana to vent that you're sad that you miss Tom. Like, you have to
That's ridiculous.
compartmentalize these things, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then Tom. Let's talk about Tom still taking zero accountability. I have never wanted to reach into a screen and slap somebody in the face so hard as I just want to like knock some sense into him. Like, there is absolutely no accountability. It's still everybody else's fault. And in his mind, he just cheated. Like, whatever, people make mistakes. And he does not understand what everybody's so upset about. It's like, to an extent, I do understand what he's saying. They are making a bigger deal about it, but I think they're making such a big deal about it because he's not taking accountability. Like, he's so slimy. He's so slimy. And I never thought I would be on Lala's side more than last night when they were having that argument on the boat. Like, he just is, he's dangerously self unaware. He's dangerous.
What about the situation with the lawsuit that all of a sudden came out, where Rachel or Raquel all of a sudden is saying, "Hey, don't forget about me. It's not going to end this way." That all of a sudden I'm suing Tom, I'm suing Ariana, I'm suing. I mean, she might go to Bravo, might go to Andy. It might be a big storyline that, hey, this is um basically I was bullied on national TV and now there's revenge porn. And we know there are huge laws with, revenge porn in California that looks like she's being aggressive of, hey, my end of the story is not over and it's not going to go this way.
Well, as far as the bullying on national TV, I mean, she was bully number one. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know if you get to be a bigger bully than to sit there and screw your best friend's boyfriend and lie to their face and manipulate and be so disgusting like that. So let's that one. I don't think she can really claim being a bully or being bullied. The revenge porn. I haven't seen um any of it. Have you?
No, I've not.
So
I've
I
not.
don't
I
really
mean,
know what they're talking about, and if she's using revenge porn as loosely as she's using the bully word, then I don't think she's got a leg to stand on. But again, I don't know what this.
yeah, from I mean, again, the rumors, allegedly, I'll say everything to protect myself, is filmed having sex, video shared. If you share video, then you're as accountable as the people that filmed it. So and it supposedly it had gone around. So it's one of those where you're going, oh my gosh, if you just let people know, if you get something on your phone, do not share it ever, to
Right.
anybody.
Now
You know,
is it, allegedly, is it her and Tom?
it sounds like it's her and Tom.
And, allegedly he shared it?
Well, that's what guys do. They share, and then of course it gets back to Rihanna, who shares it with her friends, and again, I'm just hypothetically, I'm throwing it out there, and that's how it gets around. Look, can you believe this and this, and
But
then
that
all of a
yeah, that's
sudden,
how it gets around, but is that what
yeah,
happened in this
that
instance? We don't know, right? Like
well depends what you read. You know what I mean? Depends what you read. I know some people will obviously make things really big to obviously sell or get views, but at the same time, you and I don't want to get sued either. So that's why I'm saying
right.
allegedly these are the stories that are going around, and that's the case of a lawsuit.
Well,
And
that's
so
what yeah,
yeah,
it'll have its day in court and, a judge and a jury or a judge will have, the say on that because we don't know what they're talking about, and like I said, I just can't stomach saying, "Okay, you were bullied." I just, that's like you commit a crime and then you're mad that you're being punished? I'm just confused on that one.
let me take a couple steps back. Do you remember last season where she made out with Tom Schwartz? She was all over Tom Schwartz first that we saw. And
Yeah.
then the Sandoval thing. Do you think she went into that season saying, "I'm going to break up one of these relationships,"
Yes.
and Tom Schwartz was too dumb to not say too dumb, but he didn't play the game fast enough for her to jump to the next Tom?
Yes. I think she
Yeah,
went in there on a mission. Yeah, I think she was
I did
calculating
too.
the whole yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And, I think it's pretty obvious. So, because if she wasn't and she truly had feelings for Tom Sandoval, you wouldn't go make out with Tom Schwartz.
yeah,
None of
exactly.
the math is mathing. So, yes, I think she went in there trying to stay on the show.
Yeah. It's funny. You just you just did something that I do all the time. Like as my kid tells me, he goes, "You got a bad case of the 100%ers." Like I agree with someone, and I always say 100%.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta stop doing that. I like literally I say it all the time. It's my worst flaw that it drives me crazy in my own head. You just pulled one off. You don't do that on a regular basis, but you did it there. So I said from now on, my new thing, Nicole's gonna be 99%. I'm just not gonna fully commit to anything. I'm just gonna 99%. There you go.
99%.
But that's that. But that, yeah, it's one of those things I'm trying to stop doing. But I have a bad case of the 100%ers. Every time someone says something, I go 100%, and I go, God
I
dang, I
do
gotta
do
stop
it a
doing that.
lot. I
You
do
do
it a
it
lot
too?
too. Yeah, I
You
do.
don't do it on the show a lot. I think I do it to you all the time. I agree with stuff you say, and I just go 100%. I just yell it out, and I go, God dang it! In my head, I get so pissed at myself for doing it. All right, let's get to your mailbag. Again, Nicole's mailbag. You just go to perfectlytwistedpod.com. It's right there at the top of the screen. And ask your questions to Nicole. And Nicole will do her best to answer them. Even when she thought she had a little bit of fog brain, she answered it correctly last week. So it was awesome. All right. So these are from Pat Brew. And Pat says, Nicole, you mentioned you turned down a sex tape offer. Did they want to make a tape and then use the cover story that it had been stolen? Was there basically a storyline to a sex tape offer?
Yes. That's exactly it. Leaked, I think is the word. Um, yes, that was a business that was happening and, with a formula and a budget and the whole 9. So, yes, it's exactly it.
Is that one of those things, for me at least? I'm amazed that the sex tape thing has become such a stepping stone for so many people. Like, I would never have guessed, that whether it's Paris Hilton, whether it's Kim Kardashian, there are a bunch of them that have been out,
Mhm.
and Pam Anderson, of course. But this whole thing with the sex tape in the '90s, did you see this thing ever happening, or did you ever think like this would be? To me, it would be, oh man, that would be the worst thing to happen, and it turned out to be the best thing to happen to so many people that aren't, basically, I don't want to say talented, but aren't known for a talent. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a way to go viral
Yeah,
before there was social media. People will really, figure out a way. They keep throwing darts until something hits, and that sex tape, and listen, I mean, the porn industry is huge, so if you think about it, it's kind of a no fail.
yeah,
I mean, porn is never gonna go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's never
it's
gonna
true.
not be in demand. So when you really think about it as a business, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I always think poor Ray J. You know, he was in the Kim Kardashian video. No one ever says keeping up with Ray J. I mean, nothing ever happened to him, you know? She
Oh,
turned
no,
into a
he's
billionaire
so
and all
what are
her
you talking
siblings.
about? He's so wealthy. He's such a
But you know what I'm saying? He
wealthy guy.
doesn't have the TV show. He's
He's
not
on
he's not on a
every
Kardashian level.
he is on every show, um, on cable network. I don't know what you're talking about. The guy
I
never
don't see
stops
Ray J
working.
anywhere. I saw Ray J at a
Oh,
little league baseball game.
no, 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 no.
Is that right?
No, 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 you have it wrong. Ray J works
Oh,
nonstop, gets
I
paid
would
a
I
lot of money to be on every show, every
wow.
yes,
I would
yes,
Google him,
um,
but if I Google him, you know what's gonna happen, right? It's not gonna be good. Yeah.
no, Ray J
Yeah.
works nonstop and, has a lot of business ventures, and he just, yeah,
Good for him.
no, yeah, he does
Huh.
really well.
No, I had no
Mhm.
idea.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, here we go. Nicole, were you offered big money to pose in Playboy magazine?
Well, back then it was like, I think the deal was $1 million. You know, it was like $1 million for that was their that was their offer. That was their package. So you know, I'm not sure if that's a lot of money or not
It's a lot of
for
money.
for that. Yeah, but it's yeah. I guess it is a lot of money to do a photo shoot. I don't think any magazines do that anymore. That's a thing of the past. It's funny, my daughter, I ordered a bunch of Bic lighters and they're all like the Playboy edition. And so she asked me, "What exactly is Playboy?" And I said, "It's a magazine for pinup girls and hot sexy ladies." And she said, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Why the bunny?" You know? And I just tried to explain to her that was just iconic and really cool. So back in the day, I guess it wasn't really always about the money either. It was about, being part of that magazine and being part of that
Yeah.
brand. But
That
yeah.
so when you were offered, forget the money part. In your mind, what goes through your mind of number one, of course, it helps your career, but in your mind, are you at all thinking, all right, who do I know that's going to see this of damn, I really hope they don't see this. Like, do you play that game at all? Like for me, it would be, my parents. Man, I hope my parents don't see this. That kind of deal. Like, do you play the game in your head or what goes through your mind in making a decision?
No. No, it was really about me and, how I felt about it. And listen, when I was offered Playboy, it was also during a time when the pinup girls, it became like that super like foggy lens and it was super, I don't know
Like
what the right
glamour shots at the
description.
mall? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, but naked and long gone were the days of like the really cool 60s and 70s vibe. And I was stuck there. That's what I like. I like that, like, iconic 60s, 70s Playboy bunny, look. So the 80s and the 90s was so cheeseball, which
Yeah.
now is sort of becoming a little bit more iconic. But in the moment, I just was like, "Oh, what is this fluff?" It just was so all the schoolgirl outfits and all the,
Yeah.
bleach blonde hair, hairsprayed, and, yeah, everything, airbrushed, and I just, ugh, I didn't like it, so that's why I didn't do it.
Did you ever ask anyone like you work with? I mean, there are a bunch of girls that obviously you're on Baywatch with that had decided to do it, but did you ever ask like, hey, what was your experience? Would you recommend it, not recommend it, or you just knew?
Yeah, I mean, again, one person's experience isn't somebody else's, so
Yeah.
no, I never asked anybody, and, my first offer came in before, I was on Baywatch.
Wow.
So, um so I wasn't working with a lot of people who had done it.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of bunnies did come on Charles in Charge, but it just wasn't on my mind, and, yeah, I think everybody makes decisions for themselves, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Nicole, which celebrities, or I don't want to say which ones, but is it common for celebrities to go through their agent to ask you out?
Not really. It more so back in the '80s, that was more of a thing where, so and so's agent called so and so, and matching people up like that. That was a thing, but now everybody just like slides into the DM. Now you go straight to their, straight to their social media.
Just curious, how often do you check your DMs? Like you always hear people say, I never look.
I kind of scroll through them and hit like just get all because excuse me, I'm a little OCD, so I don't like the numbers, like the unread number thing. And I don't like opening it and there being hundreds of blue dots.
Yeah,
So I'll tap through so that they're red, so that they just go away. And
there you
I
go.
very rarely read them. Very rare. But I will read them if it's somebody that I know that's reaching out that I haven't spoken to in a long time, or if there's a blue check or something like that. Sometimes I will randomly, but I cannot sit and go through them all because some of
Yeah,
them just will freak you all the way out. So I don't. But I do go through them, and yeah. It's
there you go.
it's hit or miss. Yeah, it's a hit or miss thing.
All right, last question. Nicole, have you ever turned down an acting role in the past that you later regretted? Doesn't every actor?
I don't know. I feel like first of all, I can't really remember the ones that I've turned down. It's I always like live in the what is meant to be, supposed to be, where we're at.
Yeah.
I don't really sit there and think about that. I more so think about the ones that I wanted and I didn't get. Um, that those are more prominent in my memory, but, no, I don't sit and think about, "Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that." I'm sure there's I'm sure there's quite a few if I went through there, so let's not open that box.
Good deal. All right. Well, that's it. Again, if you have a question for Nicole and you want to get it on the show, just go to perfectlytwistedpod.com. Look for Nicole's mailbag. It's that easy, and we'll do our best to get your questions on so Nicole can answer them directly, which I always think is cool as can be. I don't know anybody that does that. So that's great that you're willing to do this every single week.
No, I love
Um,
it. I love it. I think
good
it's
deal.
fun. Keeps
And
it
your next
interesting.
treat, I'm sorry, your next treatment is coming up, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, but I'm
Okay.
gonna go up to the snow. I'm gonna go snowboarding this weekend.
Good for you.
Um, yeah, because 'cause I'm feeling strong and, I had my port put in, so it's still kinda bruised, it's still a lot of bruising, but it's feeling a lot better. So, yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy this epic snow we have again this year locally, so I'm not gonna let that pass me up.
Good deal. Have fun.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
good. That's a good time.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So if you're feeling well enough, you'll see us next week as well, right, Nicole?
Yes, yes.
Good deal.
Yeah,
We
we'll
all
have a
wish you
guest
the
for
best.
next week. I have a guest lined up for next week, so, let's hope I just bear with me in my chemo brain if I have it again next week.
Everybody's fine. Everybody's
Yeah.
fine. Trust me. Don't worry about it. No need to apologize to us. Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. That was great.
Okay. See you guys later.